Have you ever really stopped to think about how those massive warehouses, the ones that store everything we buy, actually work? It's not magic. It's this incredible army of machines working behind the scenes. And today, we're going to dive into one of the most vital pieces of that puzzle, the forklift. We're going to break down how you pick the perfect one for any job, whether it's for tiny little corners or some serious heavy-duty lifting.
So let's start with a big question. How do you move 5 tons? That's literally the weight of an adult elephant inside a building and do it with total precision. Well, the answer isn't just a forklift. It's about picking the exact right forklift. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with why this is such a challenge in the first place. Then we'll look at the specialists for tight spaces, move up to the all-rounders for general warehouses, and then bring out the big guns for heavy-duty jobs. And finally, we'll tie it all together to help you make the right choice. Look, for any business moving physical stuff, picking a forklift isn't just some small detail. It's a massive deal. The wrong machine can bottleneck your entire operation, make your costs skyrocket, and can even be a safety risk. So yeah, getting this right is absolutely crucial. The specific tech we're looking at today is the counterbalanced electric forklift. And the idea behind it is kind of brilliant in its simplicity. You've got this super heavy weight in the back of the vehicle that perfectly balances whatever you're lifting on the forks. And because they're electric, you get these huge advantages. We're talking zero emissions, which is a must for indoor use. They're way quieter, and the running costs are much, much lower. All right, let's start at level 1. This is our specialist, the machine that's purpose-built for those tight corners and super narrow aisles. This is where agility is the name of the game. The easiest way to think about the B200ii series is to imagine it's the zippy little city car of the forklift world. It's not built for hauling massive loads on the highway. Nope, its whole reason for being is to navigate the tight, twisty alleyways of a crowded warehouse floor without a problem. So what does that actually mean for the operator? Well, it means this little guy can get into places bigger trucks wouldn't even dream of. It's super energy efficient, it just sips power, so you get longer run times on a single charge. Plus, its AC motor tech gives the driver this incredibly smooth, precise control, which is exactly what you need when you've only got inches to spare. And if you need one number to prove just how agile it is, here it is. A turning radius of just 1,790 millimeters. That is incredibly tight. It means this thing can practically spin on a dime, making it the perfect tool for those really, really compact spaces. Okay, time to level up. Now we're looking at the versatile workhorses, the kind of machine you'd expect to see in a typical warehouse, built to handle a little bit of everything. So if the B200 Ti200 was our city car, think of the B300 and B400 series as the reliable family sedan. It's the jack of all trades. It perfectly balances power, reach, and efficiency for all the most common jobs you're going to find. So what's the big upgrade here? Check out the battery voltage. We've jumped all the way from 24 volts on the smaller model to 48 volts here. And in simple terms, that just means more power, more capability. It's the strength you need to handle those medium-duty jobs all day long without breaking a sweat. And that extra juice translates directly into how high this thing can reach. The B300 can lift loads all the way up to 6.5 meters. That is a huge jump, and it lets it service those much taller racking systems you see in most big warehouses and distribution centers. All right, it's time. Let's bring out the Titans. These are the machines engineered for the biggest, toughest, most demanding industrial jobs out there, where lifting capacity is everything. So forget the city car, forget the sedan. The B600 and B800 series, these are the heavy-duty pickup trucks of the forklift world. They're built for one thing: pure raw power. They're designed to handle the absolute heaviest loads you'd find in a manufacturing plant or a lumber yard. This chart just says it all, doesn't it? It really puts the jump in power into perspective. You can see that steady climb from the B200ii to the B300. But then just look at that massive leap up to the B600 at 3.5 tons. It's a whole different league. And then, right at the very top of the mountain, you have the B800. And don't just take my word for it. The source material itself calls this series the pinnacle of the entire range, built for exceptional performance in the toughest jobs you can think of. And this is the number that proves it. 5 tons. That's 5,000 kilograms. This machine can lift the weight of that full-grown African elephant we talked about at the beginning. That is some serious industrial muscle.
Okay, so we've seen the nimble specialist, the dependable all-rounder, and the heavy-duty titan. But how on earth do you actually choose the right one? Well, it all comes down to one simple idea: matching the machine to your mission. This table lays out the core trade-off perfectly. Just look. As you move from left to right, the load capacity goes way up, but the maneuverability goes down. You are literally trading the excellent agility of the smaller models for the raw power of the big ones, which of course need a lot more room to work. So, making the right choice really just boils down to asking four key questions. 1. What's the heaviest thing you need to lift? 2. How high up does it need to go? 3. How much space do you have to move around in? And 4. How hard are you going to be working this machine every day? The answers to those questions will point you straight to the right model. And that brings us to the most important takeaway of this whole thing. More power is not always better. The goal isn't to just go out and buy the biggest, most powerful forklift you can find. It's about figuring out exactly what you need and finding the machine that is perfectly tailored for your job. That right there is a secret to efficiency. So, I'll leave you with this little piece of homework. The next time you're in a big hardware store or a warehouse club and you see those pallets stacked 20 feet in the air, just take a second, look around. Based on everything we just talked about, what kind of machine do you think put it up there?